Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at the 2021 Ford Escape plug-in. They've just arrived and I'm really excited because this is the future of Ford. Whether you're really excited about a Ford Maverick coming or a Ford Bronco, really any model, this is where Ford is moving pretty much all their models. So they're all going hybrid, and in time they will basically mostly all go plug-in or all electric. So trying this is trying out the future. So I'm really excited to jump right in, take you along, and let you know really everything that I think's great. The good, the bad, and if I find any, the ugly. So stay tuned. You're gonna want to watch this one to the end, and please hit like early and subscribe not to miss out. And really it does help. It helps feed a poodle and it helps get accessories for that Bronco, and sometimes covers the adult juice. And we're gonna put the pedal to the metal now and jump right in. Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. So we're gonna put the pedal to the metal on a 2021 Escape plug-in. Why? Because, well, I think this is a pretty big deal. It's a big deal. And the reason it's such a big deal is because this is the future at Ford. Even the Bronco, I suspect, is gonna go plug-in. The Maverick, I highly suspect, is gonna go plug-in. But first, it's gonna go, I'm putting my $5 bill on the fact that it's gonna go all-wheel drive hybrid first, and I think plug-in's probably gonna come on Gen 2. So in about 5 or 6 years, because that's generally when Ford likes to switch up their models, every 5 or 6 years, with a mid-refresh on the 3-year mark, give or take. Now, the Escape plug-in, wow, I'm pretty impressed. I love the fact, Ford gave out the numbers of about, and I'll put the miles, but from my recollection, it's 61 kilometers, 61 or 68 kilometers. Now, I'm sure I'll be able to get more than that because, the Fusion they had given out, the plug-in Fusion, they had talked about 35 kilometers of autonomy and in 5-degree weather in October on a rainy day. So in Fahrenheit, let's just say 5 degrees is just cold, just above freezing. I got 52 or 53 kilometers of autonomy in the city. So here we have it, the future of Ford. We've got a vehicle with very comfortable seats. I do recommend, if you're getting a plug-in Escape, go with the SEL, because on the SEL you get the ActiveX material. Now, if you're really not a fan of something that feels like great leather, don't go for this model. But this is an SEL, and I absolutely adore it because I find the ActiveX is also part of the future, taking plastic and reusing it and turning it into something useful instead of just throwing it away. So the Escape, of course, when you're in electric mode, it is dead silent. It's fantastic. When the 2.5 liter Atkinson motor kicks in, the two engines combined, you have 191 horsepower, and when it kicks in, it's not noisy, but you can hear it. Every time you let go of the gas pedal, you've got the vehicle working to recharge that battery. But of course, this is a model that you will have to plug in. But that's the magic behind this model. It's the best of both worlds. So let's say you've got your daily commute, and on your daily commute, you go 20 kilometers to work, and then you go home 20 kilometers. Well, most of the year, unless it's very cold, you're not going to have to plug in at work. You'll be able to go to work and back 100% electric. And let's say there's no plug available at work, and you live 65 kilometers away from home, so just outside of the autonomy range. Well, what's great is when the electric battery is all used up, and that's a 14.4 kilowatt electric battery. Well, when it's all used up, you just end up with a standard hybrid. So you're still gonna get about 6 to 7 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's above 40 miles per gallon. It's right in the low 40 miles per gallon. So nothing to cough at, nothing to laugh at. Now the question is this vehicle a barrel of laughs? Well, I don't know yet. I need to go take it out on the highway and get off this horribly bumpy road. Mind you, I'm fine. It takes the bumps pretty good. Not disappointed in how it takes the bumps. You do hear the suspension. You know, it's not a Lincoln or a Cadillac. It's not a luxury car, so you do hear a bit the suspension. Why not be a courteous driver? So that's neat. I'm in electric mode right now, and you just hear that artificial sound that's required. Solid. Now, I did drive this a little the other day, and from my recollection, when I went into the corners, there was no left-right sway. It was very solid. And I've been saying for quite a while now, if you're one of those Maverick orderers, go out and try an Escape. Try an Escape either with the 2-liter turbo, or if it's the hybrid that interests you, go out and try an Escape hybrid. It's going to give you a great idea and really give you a fantastic idea of, you know, what you should expect from the Maverick. And I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. So doing a little bendies here. Pretty big bendy here. Well, that's very solid. Now, some plastic bags in the back were moving around, and that shows that was actually a pretty solid curve. The vehicle was, you know, really stuck to the ground, and I believe, you know, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I'm not, this has torque vectoring, so if you go into a corner too hard, it's going to break the inner front wheel to keep the weight balanced. You know, to keep the weight more or less balanced on all 4 wheels, so better traction, better stability, and a more comfortable ride, because you're not getting, you know, swung left and right. Now, I am going in a straight line. That wasn't a series of bendies. So the Escape, it's a family SUV, but I feel good driving it. I don't feel like I'm driving a van. That's basically a real bad word in my lingo. If something drives like a van, basically, you can imagine I'm basically swearing. Let's give it the beans. So pedal to the metal. Didn't quite get up to 65 miles per hour. That was about 52 miles per hour. And I'm impressed. This hybrid, normally for me, hybrid used to be a bad word for me, because automatically I figured, oh boy, I'm not gonna like it. It's not gonna have power. It's not gonna have very good handling. And it's gonna be horrifically noisy. And a lot of that noise boiled down to a CVT. Well, what's great is this doesn't have a CVT. Has things in common with a CVT. This is an eCVT. As an eCVT, what it has in common is it is, you know, it's one gear, one speed, one gear. That it is a geared transmission. So there's no belt. CVTs run off a belt. So when you accelerate, I always feel like it's got this slingshot, elasticy feeling to it. Historically, CVTs have not been very reliable, whereas this eCVT so far from Ford, hey, everything's hunky-dory. And I'm not worried about reliability. I think this is really a vehicle that you can safely consider purchasing. And I wouldn't get into the whole, you know, comparing if one model gets a whopping 5 miles of autonomy more. Unless, you know, for me, that's not an end-all and be-all. Even if you do end up using a little bit of gas, I think some people are going to be getting, you know, a good solid 700 to 1400 miles in between getting fill-ups. And actually, if you're using this as your daily commute and you're, let's say, 20-25 miles from work and back, you're never going to have any issues, and you're going to be happy in this vehicle because it is very comfortable. The SEL, the seats are great. I'm touching them right now, and they are soft. They really feel like a good high quality leather. Okay, so we're gonna go jump on the highway. I will put the pedal to the metal, promise you that. See what this is like. Let's put the pedal to the metal. okay. That was I didn't expect that. That was good. So not a disagreeable engine sound under acceleration whatsoever. I liked the sound of that, and I hope the microphone picked it up, but that had a nice, solid exhaust and engine sound to it. And actually, I can't believe that this only has 155 pound-feet of torque. Just like the Maverick, it's unbelievably similar. I won't get into the differences. Basically, Ford now makes the electric motor in-house, whereas this was an outsourced electric motor. Unbelievably similar design, but 20 pounds less copper used, and how the magnets are, when the magnets are installed and how they're installed is different. But anyways, I can't believe this has only 155 pound-feet of torque. I have to think that must be just the gasoline engine, the 2.5 liter Atkinson motor, which is, I don't know, my engineer neighbor was explaining to me it's a 4-stroke, but it's kind of like a 4.5-stroke or a 5-stroke. But anyways, it's an Atkinson engine is made to be more fuel efficient, and generally they provide, as a downside, they provide less torque. But an electric engine, it gives you instant torque. And electric motor, and the electric motor on this does give instant torque. It's fantastic. It's very responsive. And the steering wheel, let's talk steering. We've talked about suspension. I really like how it handles in the bendies. I like how it takes a bump, makes a little bit of noise, but it's it's not a high-end luxury car costing of double the price. And this does get, there are some savings with this model, because you do get those federal and sometimes local or regional government rebates. So this is definitely takes the government rebates. But the steering is an electric power assisted steering. On the highway, it is perfect. It's just perfect. I like how, I give it some input, and it doesn't overreact, and it doesn't get pulled around by the road. Now, a journalist who's used to race vehicles on a track might say that you don't feel the road quite as much. When I'm driving to work, my daily vehicle, I don't want to feel the road. I've had that in a Toyota MR2 with a swapped V6 engine and no power steering, and there's no machine, very few machines where you'd feel the road more, but that just wasn't a fun daily. This is a fun daily driver. I'm driving on a bad highway and I'm not getting pulled left or right. The steering is just precise enough. It doesn't overreact. And of course, with an electronic power assisted steering, what's also great is the ratios between the steering wheel and the wheel adapt to your speed. Now here's a nice bendy. Couldn't ask for more. It's actually surprisingly fun. I hope that's not just my age that's saying that, but I can reassure you, if I was driving a van, I would not say, even though I'm pretty dad aged and I do like dad jokes, I would never say that I like the handling on a van. Well, unless they really surprise me and do something special, but I can tell you the vans I have tried in the past, I've actually been in a situation in the past with another manager of residences racing vans, but let's not get into too many details on that. But anyways, didn't like how it drove. I like how this drives. You notice hopping into the 2021 Ford Escape is pretty darn easy. You just put your thumb there when you want to lock the doors, and just right in there when you want to unlock them. Let's go check out that back trunk space. Easy fuel door, except on the hybrid models at Ford, you do have a button to open them. It's the only time. Now, your Escape plug-in will come in with this. It's going to come free of charge with a mobile charger to plug right into 110. So your regular plugs at home. And you have a spacious back seat. Those seats fold down so you can transport things. Now let's see what that looks like. So obviously you're hopefully not going to be stuffing anyone into your trunk, but this does help give you a relative size of what kind of space you do get in the trunk. Now, of course, you can put the seat down and have, runs down to the hardware store. Maverick would probably be better for that if you're going to be going to the hardware store very often, but this will get the job done when you're in a pinch. And my reviews are all about whether the vehicle gets the job done for the job it was built to do. Now back to the beginning of the video, I did say this is the future at Ford, and here's the proof. This is an Edge ST line. That's a gasoline powered vehicle, and it's got this plug already ready for electrification. And even the touchscreen when you're near empty on gas asks if it should find you an electric charging station. Speaking of charging vehicles, I do get to, drive. I've owned a lot of vehicles. I get to drive a lot of vehicles, and it's all about, is the vehicle purpose built? Does it serve the purpose that it was built to do? So, if it's a Bronco and it's built to bring you out in nature, well, it better be able to bring you out in nature. Otherwise, that's when I'll give something a bad review. I'm not a big fan of reviews that, tear one vehicle down because it's ever so slightly slower than another vehicle. I don't think that makes sense. The real question for me is, does the vehicle do what it was built to do, and how well does it do it? And that's what my reviews are based on. So I love the Bronco because it's just great at bringing us out in nature. And by the way, if you do like nature shots, I do have another channel called Nature Action, and on Nature Action, well, that's sort of the result of where our adventures take us. But speaking of which, I do get to drive a lot of vehicles because I have some very nice friends that either let me drive their vehicles or sit in their vehicles while driving, and contact. So this was a contact that I have, and he just threw me the keys to this 10-cylinder vehicle, and it was perfectly built for the purpose that it was built to do, which is to put a huge smile on your face, rip through the corners, and get through anything. Now also, when vehicles are modded, I also ask myself, is the vehicle properly modded? And it's got to be modded to serve the purpose that the modifications were put on the vehicle for. So if it's modded to do off-road, it better off-road pretty darn good. Now the Escape, to conclude, is great at doing what it was built to do. It's fantastic at getting you to work, your daily commute. And for so many people, that's going to be 100% electric. There's a button in here that you press and you go all electric mode. You force the vehicle to go electric. Otherwise, it'd give you an average somewhere between 2 to about 3.5 liters per 100 kilometers, unless you're doing just highway for very long periods of time, in which case you might get a little more than 4 liters per 100. I'll convert that into miles per gallon for all my American friends. But it really does it serves its purpose so well. The handling was great, the steering was great, the acceleration was great, and I couldn't really find anything that I didn't like about this vehicle. It's purpose built, it did its job, and I really like it. So I hope you get to try one out soon, because at the end of the day, your opinion is the only one that counts. I'm just here to show you the vehicles, and that's why I don't want to do these, comparisons where I compare one vehicle to another, and because of a slight speed difference, I conclude that one is better than the other. I don't want to discourage anyone from trying out a vehicle for themselves. So this, I can say, is definitely worth trying out. Head to a dealership, get a test drive in one. It's the future at Ford. I loved it. Let's find out what you like or don't like about it. And if you do like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, because I've got a whole lot of videos and I don't get to bring all my reviews to you. I couldn't do the Audi review because, well, I'm just so busy with other stuff. There's so much misinformation about the Ford Maverick, and it's a new vehicle coming out. So if you like Bronco, Maverick, mostly Ford content, please like and subscribe. It'll be, great hearing from you in the comments section. And until next time, I wish you all more cars and more power. And I really do hope you get to put the pedal to the metal this week. Have a great one.